out of all there are thousands and thousands of franchises, right? Or, maybe I just over exaggerated that number, but out of all the franchises that you could have gone into, why 7-Eleven?
Yeah, sure.
Who's to say that I didn't try to get into other ones?
Talk about it. Let's
expound on it. Yeah,
for sure. I tried Chick-fil-A. I got very far in the process with them. I tried McDonald's. Let's be honest. Like, sometimes you have to fail at something and then wait till something hits. So I've looked into. I literally would be driving down the street and just like jotting down businesses' names, and then going home to see like what their franchising rules are. It just so happened that 7-Eleven, being that they have over 10,000 of them in America, their process is a lot simpler and a lot easier to get to a rep.
Family, my name is Tyler,
and it's Darren checking in with you,
and this is Uncharted Mind, the show where we talk about life, health, and wealth. Man, listen, do we have an episode for y'all today? One that I've been curious about for a while. I think me and you were talking about franchising when it comes to, I think Chick-fil-A was one of the ones we talked about, and there was another one. But gas stations was never one that you know what I mean, crossed my mind.
Yeah, I never thought about that, but hey, I'm sure it can be quite lucrative. I'm sure we're gonna
for sure. And so I guess today, man, she specializes in that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you have one, you specialize in my opinion, right? So I guess today, she specializes in having a franchise or being a franchisee of a famous gas station, and I'm sure, or convenience store that I'm sure everyone in America knows about, 7-Eleven, right? So without further ado, I'm going to let her introduce herself with all of her AKAs. Yes. Yeah, you got a lot of them. Did my research. Without further ado, man, go ahead and introduce yourself to the people. Give them your name, where you from, and a little bit about your background and what led you up to this point.
Right. Hey, it's your girl, Alyson Rae Lawson, aka Alyson Rae, aka Ally Rae, aka A-Ray, aka A-Rob, aka Queen of the aka the hardest working woman alive. But again, wait for me because I am always working on it. I am the CEO of Rae Lawson Enterprise and Rae Lawson Enterprise 2.0, which is a franchisee of 2 7-Eleven convenience stores located on Matlock and 20 in Arlington, Texas. And on the side, I am a motivational speaker. I love talking to children of all ages, but I really do specialize in high school and college, and I charge for keynotes.
That's dope.
I am from Dallas, Texas. Let me first put that out there. I am from Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
Born and raised.
You a Cowboys fan?
I am a Cowboy fan, but I'm a second-grade Chiefs fan.
Let's go ahead and get you off this interview real quick. We don't do no that punches.
People love to hate us. I love it.
Hey, y'all make it easy. Y'all make it easy for us. I promise.
Hilarious.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so yeah, if you just want to expound a little bit more on your background, like maybe what school you went to, what did you take up, and how did you get into the franchise game?
Okay, well, I went to high school in Oak Cliff, Texas. I went to college at the Hampton University, not to be mistaken with Howard and everybody else, but I went to the Hampton University, which is in Hampton, Virginia, where I received a Bachelor of Science in Business Management. I went to Texas University Commerce, where I got a Master's in Business Administration, and then I went to the University of Miami for my Master's in Accounting. And I will not get a classroom or school ever again because I'm done.
Okay, so that's a lot of schooling.
It is.
First. And listen, I'm sure myself, for sure, but the rest of America can attest to how difficult that could be, being in school that long. So total time, like how long were you in school, college-wise?
I graduated college a year early, so that was 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6.5. I could have been a doctor. I should have been something.
6.5 years. Oh yeah, you was moving.
Yeah,
man.
Sure.
Okay, so what was your first job right out of college?
Okay, well, in college I was slinging cell phones, so I was probably making more than the average college student. I worked for a cell phone company, so that's where it started. But as soon as I graduated from college, my first job was at the city of Dallas, Dallas
Okay.
City Hall. All the young, eager people want to get into the budget office because anybody who is anybody at the city of Dallas started off in the budget office. You literally, I mean, you work for money, but at the end of the day, you're probably making negative $2 an hour based on how many hours you're working.
Oh, wow.
Especially during budget season. But it's completely worth it because once you understand the money, you understand everything.
Okay.
That's dope.
Makes sense.
So what was next? What was next after that?
After that, I moved to, I did a lot of moving. I moved to Norfolk, Virginia, and I worked for the city of Norfolk. Then I moved to Hampton, and I worked for the city of Hampton Newport News, in their government behavioral health facility. And then I moved to Houston, and I worked. I went to the private sector, so I was no longer working for public sector. I went to the private sector, and it was just a complete shell shock. But it gave me a sense of what I wanted to do in the future. And then I went on to franchising.
So how did you begin your journey in franchising? Like, did someone like kind of put you on game on how to go about getting one, or?
So my parents are both wonderful entrepreneurs. I saw my mother retire and become a realtor, and not just any realtor, an amazing realtor with some huge accounts. And so I just watched her be an entrepreneur, and then my father franchised 3 McDonald's in the Oak Cliff area.
Okay. That's dope.
And so I just watched them. So that's really how I knew what franchising was. But I never wanted to do franchising. I really just wanted to work my way up in government. That's just all I wanted to do in life, was just work my way up in government because I loved it. It was good. It was just all different people, races, beliefs. But whenever I was in corporate America, like I said, it was a shell shock. And I realized that you don't get this whole diverse, warm feeling you got in government. You know what I mean? Like, it literally is the good old boys club, and there was no room for a little black girl who wanted to make it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So so that was your reason for leaving then, right?
Oh, for sure, that was my reason for leaving. My reason for franchising, who knows? I just thought, like, maybe I don't have a special. I don't know why I thought just franchising would be next, but I just looked into it just to see what would happen.
Can you explain real quick what franchising is, or what is a franchise?
A franchise are things like Chick-fil-A, 7-Eleven, where these companies already have a name. And you pretty much buy their name and run your business through it.
Okay.
So although it says 7-Eleven on the building, my business, Rae Lawson Enterprise and Rae Lawson Enterprise 2.0, is the business that runs it. So on top of everybody's paycheck, it says Rae Lawson Enterprise. When it comes to doing anything, if somebody sues you, it's Rae Lawson Enterprise. It's not 7-Eleven. So you're literally just using their name and their structure.
So how much did like your schooling affect, how successful you are into the business side of franchising? Like, do you pull a lot of knowledge and aspects that you learned from school into your day-to-day, job?
Absolutely.
Owning the franchise?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Wow. I didn't expect that answer, actually.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely not. No. Things you learn in college, because I have a master's degree in accounting and I don't even do my own taxes. So no, there's nothing that I can say that I pulled from schooling that has helped me here, other than the fact that I got through. And if you could sit down and get through something like college and learn to, even like the grades, like my grades weren't the best grades, but I learned how to move through professors, and how to talk to them, how to, things like that. And that kind of taught me business, you have to,
so
deal
you
with
really
people.
learn more life lessons versus like day-to-day skills for what you're doing. Okay.
Exactly.
So, all right. Out of all there are thousands and thousands of franchises, right? Or, maybe I just over-exaggerated that number, but out of all the franchises that you could have gone into, why 7-Eleven?
Yeah, sure.
Who's to say that I didn't try to get into other ones?
Talk about it. Let's
expound on it. Yeah.
For sure. I tried Chick-fil-A. I got very far in the process with them. I tried McDonald's. Let's be honest. Like, sometimes you have to fail at something and then wait till something hits.
Gotcha.
So, I literally would be driving down the street and just like jotting down businesses' names and then going home to see like what their franchising rules are. It just so happened that 7-Eleven, being that they have over 10,000 of them in America, their process is a lot simpler and a lot easier to get to a rep.
Got you. Okay.
So to whereas like
entry.
I do want to add this. So to whereas like Chick-fil-A and McDonald's, like it's strictly an application process. There's nobody to reach out to. Same thing with Wingstop. 7-Eleven, if you go on their website, the person who is selling the store or the franchising rep is their exact number is on there. So you get to speak to a live person.
So it's a little more personal. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So can you kind of expound on that process a little bit more? Like, is it just paperwork, or do you have to have certain requirements as like a business owner, business entity?
Tell us how you got into it, A to Z.
I am tripping. Flashback. No, everything starts off as an application, of course. Anything in life, most things business-wise start off as an application, even if you're trying to get a loan from the bank.
For sure.
But after that, it really is filling out a portfolio. And they lay it out for you. And that's the one thing about franchising is they lay everything out from you from A to Z, so that way you don't forget anything. So just so they it's a checklist of things that you need. You fill that checklist out, and there's a department that lets them know if you have the funds and the means and the wherewithal to franchise. There's a personality test, but there's a personality test with everything. But that personality test is a load of crap. I mean, when's the last time you seen a franchisee like me? So the personality test is a load of crap, but I mean, it's a formality. But they check everything. They check, your bank accounts. They check everything. Credit score, everything.
Okay. So outside of the application, right? Once you got approved, what were some of the first couple of steps you had to, make or do to get everything started on actually having a store?
The only significant thing that I will say after you get approved for the process, especially with franchising, because they go ahead and they build your store, they put all the products in there, they do all of that. But I will say the significant thing that they ask you to do is to get licensed. So form your LLC. In gas station, there's so many licenses that you have to have. Like you have to have, a license for propane tanks. You have to have a license to sell fresh flowers. You have to have a license to, just for gas. You have to have a license for everything. Food, TABC. So they ask you to get, and they list for you the things in which you need in order to apply for licensing. And you can either do it yourself or you can pay somebody. I'm a person who pays somebody for convenience. So
that's the best business in the world.
Gotta save
some of the richest people are rich because they provide that level of convenience, right?
Exactly.
Sure.
So there's people who do it on their own, and I do commend them. But I outsource. And that's really the only thing they ask you to do after you get the store is to just make sure that you're completely licensed.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool.
Hey, so walk us through like your day-to-day process as a franchisee, store owner. Like, do you show up to the stores regularly to check on things? How's it doing the paperwork daily, or just walk us through your day.
I am a very hands-on person, so I'm here most days out of the week. I'm here Monday through Friday. I'm here Saturdays, and then I'm trying to do this thing where I'm trying to step away on Sundays, just so I can have a little bit of me time. But to answer your question of like, what's a typical day? There is no typical day. Like when you are in a gas station, there's always going to be something different. It's never going to be the same. Like I could walk in and what I'm supposed to do is come in, do my paperwork, and go as a franchisee. But I could come in, food not be made, or bar not be done, or vault not be stocked, or something. You know what I mean? Or like, let me talk to my managers, or teach them something. So it's always something happening, and always something. I mean, you could come in and there could be an accident on Matlock and 20, and everybody's cutting through your parking lot. You know what I mean? So then you have to regulate that. You could come in and somebody drive off with the gas pump, and you have gas leaking everywhere. Like everything is different. Nothing stays the same, and that's kind of also what I like about it too.
Okay.
So I know with different franchises, right? There are different rules. There are different rules for the franchisee. Um,
I
in
hate the word
7-Eleven,
rules.
do you?
I hate the word rules because I this is my shit. So I hate the word rules. You know what I mean? Like
Okay. Okay, there are guidelines.
there
Then
we
how
go,
about that?
guidelines. Okay, go ahead.
There we go. All right, bet. So there are different guidelines for each franchisee to follow. And I know Chick-fil-A is one of those franchises that I guess mandates the owner to work inside of the franchise store, right?
Mhm.
So is it the same with 7-Eleven, or do you just choose to work because you don't? It's your baby, and
I
you don't want to.
No, you're right. I choose to work because it's my baby. Now Chick-fil-A
Got you.
has something completely different because I mean let's be honest. There's not as many Chick-fil-A's. And so they really don't allow people to have more than 2. And 2 is very, very rare. I know franchisees with 10 and 12 7-Elevens. So there's no way that that as a person we would be able to split our time amongst the stores. And if everything is running, they suggest 20 hours a week, but they don't really mandate 20 hours a week. But as for me, I'm here. One, because whenever I got my first store, I was so intense and my customer base loves me that I want to make sure that I'm here all the time for them.
Okay.
Okay.
That's dope. That's dope.
All right.
Because you are extremely active with your employees and inside of your stores. Because I see you all on Instagram and TikTok. TikTok going crazy, by the way. Very entertaining. Y'all check it out. So yeah, man, I bet your customers are attracted to not only the store and the products that y'all sell, but you as an owner, 'cause you're very, very intuitive when it comes to your business.
Thank you.
So that's dope. That's dope.
Thank you.
I want to know about your management structure within the store. So are you kind of like the owner / head manager, or do you have a manager up under you with co-managers? How does that work?
So I do have I am kind of the HNIC around here. Head honcho. But I do have wonderful managers. I have one in each store, and then I do have supervisors as well. So, and senior staff and all that. So I give credit where credit is due. You do good work, I pay. You know what I mean? Increases, promotions, all of that stuff. So I have 2 really good managers. Both have 2 completely different qualities, but are fit for each of their stores that they're in. And because they're right across the street from each other, they work together. They help each other out. It's a good situation.
And that's so dope because one, I'm gonna get into the having 2 stores, and then get into them being across the street from each other. But I want to talk about your staff, right? We all know, especially when running a franchise, your staff is what's gonna make or break you, right? Chick-fil-A
and then 9
has.
times out of 10 in this economy,
go ahead.
I said 9 times out of 10 in this economy, it's gonna break you. So.
For sure, yeah, for sure. And Chick-fil-A has made a name for themselves, just strictly because of their staff, right? The food's good too, but nobody. Let's be honest, nobody's just raving about the food. It's the staff, it's the service. So, how hard is it to find good help, keep good help, and build that team cohesiveness in order to maintain a well-run store?
Honestly, at this point, with 7-Elevens, it depends on the manager. Like the manager is the one who is really going to keep the structure of the store. The other staff, they come and go. And I think that's what people who frequent places other than Chick-fil-A, I don't know how they're doing it, but other than Chick-fil-A, I think people need to give us as business a little bit of grace. And just know that we are working with the best that we can. Because trust me, if I could get Chick-fil-A staff, I would hire Chick-fil-A staff. If you see a staff member here and they're rude or they're not working hard, it's not because we want them there. It's because we literally sometimes just need a warm body to fill the space, so that way the managers and me can get some rest. And so just in this economy, it's just extremely hard to find good people. But when you find good people, you have to treat them right and you have to hold on to them.
Gotcha. Okay. So you know what, with Chick-fil-A, right? Because I actually wanted to.
You really like
I'm
Chick-fil-A?
So curious as to how they do what they do. I wanted to go just. Listen,
he has a thing for Chick-fil-A.
I do love Chick-fil-A. I'm like,
every time I call him, he at the window.
Hey, listen, it's just I feel like they're the model when it comes to business and franchising, and when it comes to employees.
I don't know if they're the
so,
model.
and that's what I
it's
know.
a falsehood. We
Is
can
it?
all strive to be like Chick-fil-A, but where else have you seen service like Chick-fil-A?
You're right.
I think that they have
Nowhere.
done a really good job at cornering the market, and that's very commendable of them. But in reality, it's not realistic.
So I was using them as like because that's what's right beside my house, right? So it's like that's what I see every day. So yeah, if I keep referring to them, it's because it's like right here. But nah, what I was saying was I almost actually put in an application to work for Chick-fil-A just to see how they do things. But no, yeah, I understand that the fact that that they have that level of success. Yeah, there's no other franchise that's like that. Not saying that it's not possible for other franchises, but anyway, on to my second question. You have two stores,
Yeah.
right, directly across the street from each other. What went into the decision to expand your business? Rae Lawson Enterprise, correct? Rae Lawson Enterprise, and not only expand it, but open up another store that's directly across the street from your store.
Money.
Well, I would think that with the stores being, on the opposite side of the streets, like, are you kind of conflicting with, like, you making yourself your own competition, or is it just the steady flow of traffic doesn't really matter?
Well, first and foremost, that gas station was already there. So regardless of whether or not I liked it, it was going to be there. And it was going to be competing with me unless I bought it. So people always say, why'd you build? I didn't build anything. Those stations been there since been there. So that's first. Second of all, they're two completely different gas stations. Completely. One is my commuter store. It's a huge parking lot. It does. It's good for like people who bring in their lawn service machinery. It's like a stop for people traveling. It holds semis, all that stuff. So it's a huge parking lot.
Okay.
The other one is kind of like the neighborhood corner store where people like walk into. So they're although they literally are a 1 minute walk between the two, like over the street. They're two completely different stores. We have two completely different products in there. That's why I said the managers are really good for where they are in each store. So, is it competing? No, because from a business standpoint, if I need supplies, they just walk across the street. If one store is short staffed and we need help, they just walk across the street. From a business standpoint, it was a very smart move to buy out your competition and make your life a little bit easy to manage. So when I go to work in the morning, I just have to go across the street, as opposed to if I would have bought one 10 miles away or 5 miles away, that's a travel, As far as competing, I'll say no, because like I said, sometimes they have two different products. But if like one store is low on pizza, I can always send the customer to cross to the other store. Like, hey, if we go across the street, it's over there. One gets morning traffic, the other one gets afternoon traffic. So no, it was a smart business move if you sit and think about it.
Okay, for sure.
Well, the way I look at it is, well, for one, before I say this, that 7-Eleven pizza is so underrated. It's good, good as hell. By the way, and them hot wings. Listen,
have you had the spicy?
I haven't had the spicy yet.
Try the spicy; it'll change your life.
Got you. There's one right out the road from my house too. By the way,
if they don't have any, you can always order. They let you order. I don't know if you knew that, but like if you ever wanted something and you didn't see it out there, you can always just say, "Hey, can I get this?" And we make to order.
I didn't know that. See, look at you. Put me on game. So, and then when it comes to the competition, right? Like, so from my mindset, I'm thinking, okay, you could either look at it as competing stores, or you could look at it as one entity controlling the market in that area, right? Yeah, so I think it's dope. It's almost like monopolistic in a way. The way that you were able to just buy out the one that's right across the street, because now you're controlling the influx of cash going, I guess. And I'm assuming that traffic, or not traffic, but I'm assuming that I guess the traffic in your store is more, I guess it's higher in the mornings on one side than it is on the other, just simply because of the direction of the side of the road.
People are leaving their neighborhoods going to the freeway.
Got you. Yeah. So
Okay.
I mean, I like that as a business move. I think that's pretty dope. And I'm glad you explained that because
Yeah, for
a
sure.
lot of people don't. We see it on surface, and we don't really
Oh yeah,
understand
people
it.
are cruel. They go in on me on social media. If anybody posts me or anything like that, they go in. That's stupid. I'm like, all right, bet.
Yeah, nah, it's just controlling the
Yeah.
market. That's the way I
Yeah.
see it, man. And I think that's dope, man. I think that's super. And by the way, I'm like, I'm a business like phenom. I'm like that. That's just what I read about. So I always try to understand about why people do things the way they do when it comes to business.
Mm-hmm.
And so from my understanding, that just made sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so second store, you got your first one in 2017, correct?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, 27. No, it might have been 18.
Was it
Yeah, because
18?
I won the contest in 17, and it wasn't ready until 18.
Got you. Okay, so
Okay.
18. And then you open up your second store when?
19 in the 2019.
19. 2 years
No,
later. Okay, that's
just
crazy.
one. So I opened one in October of 2018, and I opened up the other one in December of 2019. So it's about 13, 14 months.
That's
Yeah.
crazy. So what are your plans on expansion? Do you plan on buying more?
Nope.
No?
No more headaches. I don't want any more headaches. It seemed, and honestly, the store that I bought across the street is not as lucrative, but I bought it as a stepping stool to get a third one. But in life, things just kind of just change, and you decide to do other things. And
Gotcha.
so at this point, I think I'm content with two. And I'll just see where the world of business takes me from there. Because you're more than
Gotcha.
welcome to franchise as many stores as you want to, and still do your own thing on the side. So I'm still deciding business wise what I want to do.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. Since you mentioned that, what are some things that is going to get a little more on the personal side? But what are some things that you are interested in? Whether it be business or personal, outside of what your day-to-day tasks are maintaining the stores.
What do I like to do? I like to sit at home and do nothing. So here's the thing: is when people. And so people are always like, what do you want to do? Like, you always have to be working. And I'm like, why can't we find something that makes money for us while we're not working? And that's really what I want to look more into is because I don't want to have two stores with that headache and then go out and try to do something completely different with another headache. I'd like to make income while not thinking about it.
That's dope.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of the tone I was asking the question, like, what are the things you were interested in that could potentially make money so that when you're not, hands on with the store. But yeah, I got you. Go ahead, Tom.
Because I'm tired. I'd like to just be at home chilling. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah. Hey, listen, you're honest. To be honest, bro, because I feel like a lot of people want to say things like that, but they feel that maybe others would judge them for being lazy or whatever. But that's the goal, right? Well, it should be the goal. The goal should be to maintain a certain level of financial freedom without having to physically do the work, right? So, you're just honest. All right, so this is we in year 2022, right? Rae Lawson has 2 stores. Where do you see yourself? Whether we already know the expansion is dead because you just killed that. Where do you see yourself as an entrepreneur, as a person, in about 3 to 5 years from now? Let's use 5. Where do you see yourself? What are
what's so funny is that people always ask me, like, what are my goals or what are my plans for the future? I have 0 goals. I had 0 goals in life from ever. Like, I literally am an opportunist. And I say that with the most respect of myself and not in a bad way, but like, I see an opportunity and I take it. I've never had a goal because anytime I had one goal in life, I wanted to be an orthodontist. I'm now a business owner. So at which point, and I almost fell out of college trying to be an orthodontist. So at that point, I decided that I was no longer going to make goals for myself. I was just going to see what comes my way. I know what I want in life. I know I want to sit at home, and I know I want to go to the spa and get my nails done and get my toenails done. And I need to find a way in order to do that. I need to invest and I need to make money. But as far as like an exact goal of what I want to do in 5 years, I don't know. And that's so funny because I tell my family that all the time. Like, I need to figure something out. But I think that's a part of growing up.
I respect that. That's honesty.
Yeah, I think people think that you always have to have it figured out by the time you're in your 30s, and you're like, no, like, no longer like that. People don't spend 50 years at companies like our parents, So
Right.
it's just me still trying to figure it out. Now I know that I'll be successful, and I can still have the stores if I wanted them, because I'm on a certain amount of year contract, and I'll still have it in 5 years.
Gotcha.
But no, I don't know. Like that's what's so exciting about life, is that you never know what's coming. Like I never thought I would have one store, let alone two. You know, so no, I don't have any goals, and I say that with the most positive. Most positive.
No, that's dope. I mean,
we get it. We definitely get it. Yeah.
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 Honestly, it's hard to
You don't
come by
want to limit
nowadays,
yourself.
man.
You know what I mean? Like you make a goal and maybe it's too low. So you're trying to
Gotcha.
fight for that one goal, and maybe you couldn't have reached your full potential. Or you make a goal that's too high, and then you're disappointed and let down and unmotivated. So I just go with the wind.
Well, I think goals, man, they shouldn't be. This is just my opinion, right? I think goals. I don't think they should be like a static like thing. Like, okay, I want to have this by this. You know what I mean? Like my goal is to be happy for the rest of my life, right? I know there's plenty of things I have to do for me to achieve that level of happiness, right? But if I can maintain happiness, I reached my goal, right? So, yeah, you know, we have to start focusing less on tangible goals and focus more on intangible ones, right? Things that we can continue to strive for. All right, so what would you say to the 18, 19-year-old male or female that is looking at Rae Lawson like, man, you know what? She's a dope individual. You know, she has 2 of them things. You know what I mean? She got 2 7-Elevens. You know, she worked hella hard, but you feel me? She happy. You know, she making the dope TikToks, Instagram going crazy. She being recognized by people like Uncharted Mind. Like, how can I get to where she at? Right? You said I had to throw that in there real quick.
I wouldn't even say anything.
The queen of the AKAs, like, I want to have.
And he means, and when you say queen of AKAs,
well,
he means queen of like also known as, because I'm
also known
Delta
as
for life. So just remember that. So go ahead.
Here she go. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Also known as, for sure. But like, for that young, you know, male or female that wants to be a franchisee, what would you say to them as far as advice? What are some things you wish you had known earlier on that, you know, you learned later on, and maybe knowing them early would have helped you in your
There's
career?
only 2 things that I always say, because nobody cares about anything when it comes to business except money, period.
Gotcha.
I think that, don't get me wrong, I've always been really good with money. Always. Like I've always saved. I've always been really good with money. But I wish I would have known more about investing, and how much I needed to be saving. And I think that once you get a grasp on that, the sky is the limit. Because I was talking to another franchise the other day. Not saying that I would go into them, but I was just looking into other options. And they told me that I needed a certain amount. And she said, "Do you have that amount?" I said, "Ma'am, if I had that amount, I wouldn't need you." Like you know what I mean? Like if I had that much money, screw y'all. Like I would be doing something completely different. And she kind of laughed. And she's like, "Well, I guess that's true." So I think that my first thing that I would tell people is that, like, money, like you need to do something with money. You need to look into it. You need to go look into Roths. You need to look into investing. You need to look into all types of things that's other than buying beer and weed. I'm just be honest with you. That's just at a young age. That's what somebody at a young age. You do what you want whenever you get older. But I think the second thing that I would tell them is that there's always a hater in the room. That's my number one thing that I always tell people, that there's always a hater in the room. And I think that I spent so much time letting them sometimes bring me down to size, that I didn't use them as a motivation. And so I think that whenever I left corporate America and they tried to bring me into a little bitty box, because they didn't know who I was or what I was capable of or where I came from, I think that it was just that much of a shocker whenever I went on to own the 7-Eleven. So I think that we always have to remember that we need to welcome haters and use them in the right platform, in the right way.
That's dope.
Okay.
That's dope.
Yeah, I just want to say, well, we appreciate you. I appreciate your perspective on a lot of things. Like, you so energetic and, just
Oh, thank you.
I don't know how to explain you. I can't put you in the
Funny.
box. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we appreciate
Authentic.
your time. Yeah, for sure. And
Thank
yeah,
y'all.
just say keep going and inspiring us as you go. For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
I had fun.
Mhm.
And so, and listen, you say you was a motivational speaker and all that. I want you to leave our people with a message. And then directly after that, could you plug in all your socials, websites, or whatever you want to plug in, so that our listeners, if they have any questions, if you want them to have your information, if they have any questions, they can just kind of, hit you up or whatever. And if they're in your area, where can they find your store?
Last motivational piece that I'm going to give is to be you. Be 100% unapologetically, absolutely you. Because in this world, people, like I said, are going to want to try to put you in a box. And people are going to tell you that this is exactly how you should run your 7-Eleven. But I have succeeded, and I am who I am today because I have stayed true to myself at all times. You're never going to see another 7-Eleven franchisee like me. And that is what I pride myself on, is being me and being different. As far as my social media goes, you can find me on Instagram at the number 7 spell out 11 _ Rae, Rae Lawson. You can find me on Facebook at Rae Lawson _ spell out the number 7 spell out 11. you can find me. I'm so sorry. You can find me on Twitter at Rae Lawson _ the number 7 and 11. And you can find me on TikTok. I just started a TikTok, so I'm super excited about that. As Rae Runs 7-Eleven. Or you can always come in. I'm here all the time. I'm at 100 East Interstate 20 and 700 West Interstate 20 in Arlington, Texas.
Got you. Hey, listen, there you have it. The dopest. Listen, I'm going to go ahead and stamp it right here. The dopest 7-Eleven franchisee that you'll ever meet.
Yes, sir.
Right here on Uncharted Mind, man. Listen, we appreciate you for coming through, shedding light on your industry, and dropping game, man. Motivating our people, motivating us, right? Because we do this for the people. It's also for us as well. You know what I mean? We love to hear from entrepreneurs like yourself in your story. Because the story, right, is what makes the journey. The journey. So, thank you. And this has been Uncharted Mind, man. We signing off, man. Peace.
Hey, real quick. Let me shout out my guy, Craig, man. Craig, I got you. The forever lifestyle. Y'all go copy it. Y'all go shop with him, man. Dope.
Definitely,
I love it.
And thank you again. Appreciate your time.